Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, which happens every Friday. And on the last Friday of the month, you are invited to join us and go check out our Facebook group so that you can get the inspiration piece and play along. So the piece that we are lifting today is from Magna Balenska, and I believe it was created for 7 Dots Studio. So I am using this piece of paper that already looks like it has mixed media on it. That paper is from Echo Park's Plant Lady collection, and it is the 4x4 journaling cards paper because that's what's on the other side of it. So I had a couple sheets of this in my stash. I thought this was actually a really good piece to start with, but I want to lighten it up a little bit. So I pulled out my Dylusions white linen paint. It's just acrylic paint, and I'm dry brushing it on. And when I say dry brushing, that means I'm not sticking my paintbrush in and out of the water at all. It is just purely the paint, and it's not exactly whitewashed, but it kind of gives it a little bit of a whitewash look. I'm not going over it really thick. I want the colors to show through, but I want them to fade out just a bit. So I do want to keep some of the color, but I don't want all of it. So I'm softening it up a bit by doing this technique, and I'm hoping that it's going to work. I have never done this technique before on paper for this purpose, but I've done this technique for other purposes, but never to cover up the background design on a piece that I want to be a mixed media piece. So then I pulled out my Catherine Pooler ink in Twilight and this stamp from Stampin' Up, and it is called Stacked Stone. I will put links to these products down below for you if they're of any interest to you. You can follow the link and find them easily that way. So that's the stamp. It is a background stamp. It's believe a 4x6 stamp, but I didn't put ink like all the way to the edges because I don't want to have like a harsh line. And then same with this stamp. This is an old Kaisercraft stamp. I'll put the name of it down below as well. But it is pretty old. I don't know if you can even get it anymore. I was going to try and look at the name right now because I have the stamps sitting next to me. Then I am going to pull out another Kaisercraft stamp that has little dots on it. The one that I did in the purple, or Serenade, is the color that I used from Catherine Pooler there. That one's called Flutter. And then this dotted one is called Fading Dots. Again, all from Kaisercraft. So, and then I am using some black ink for that. It's a little bit bolder than I want, so I will end up going over that with some more paint to kind of lighten it up. And I am doing a little bit of second generation stamping, which basically means that I'm not re-dipping into my ink pad, but I keep stamping over and over again. So basically second, third generation stamping. And then I pull out my distress tool, and I'm going to distress that piece of scrap paper that has the hearts on it. I found that in my scrap bin. And then a piece of packaging from Felicity Jane because I wanted those scallops, and for no other reason except I didn't want to pull out my scallop punch, and this gets it out of my scrap bin. My purple paint, sadly, is almost dry. I mean, it's not completely dry, but it's getting there. So I was able to pull some of the purple paint in to with my paintbrush to my acrylic block there, and then I'm stamping off some Juniper Mist navy blue ink from Catherine Pooler onto my block and mixing it in so that it becomes more periwinkle than purple. Want it to kind of match the paper that over on the left hand side versus that really kind of like, I don't know if I would call that grape color, but that really kind of lavendery purple color. And I don't actually have that paint in front of me to tell you what the name of that one is, but I, again, will link that down below. And I don't believe they come in these pots anymore. I think they come in bottles. So I've had my paints a long time, and they used to come in these pots, which I really loved. But I have been seeing them in little bottles now. The glimmer paste. I want to say glimmer paste. I don't think it's glitter paste. The glimmer paste that is in yellow right there is from, it's glacier paste. It's from Nuvo, and it is called Pineapple Delight. And so I thought I'd bring that color in, and then I used one of the orange Vicki Boutin art crayons to bring in a little bit more of that orangey corally color. It's a little bit lighter than the coral color, or whatever you would call that red-orange color on the right-hand side, but that's okay. I don't mind that it's a little bit lighter. I am going to go back in with my dry brush again and pull out more of that white paint to lighten things up more. Right now, to me, it looks like a little bit of a hot mess, so I'm just going to keep working on it. Worst case, it's a piece of paper. I can always start over. That's my feeling about it, and I did have another sheet of this, so I wasn't super worried about it. But I do end up liking it at the end when I get it kind of all said and done, and that's one of those things, if you're not liking it, just keep working it, because the worst that can happen is you still don't like it. You could just throw it away. You know, probably at the highest cost, this paper was $1. It's not like it's the end of the world if you throw away one paper. But I do end up liking it, so it's gonna end up staying. And I did want to kind of fade out some of those stamps, so that's what I did there. And then I just sprayed a little bit of water in my white paint because it was kind of thick. And so I wanted to make sure that when I put it away, it has some moisture in there so it doesn't thicken up again. And then I pull it out again and I keep working it. Like I said, I decided to let it dry and then work on it a little bit more. It does help if you let it dry between iterations because you can kind of see how it dries. It also gives the paper a chance to get back to its regular shape. If you are not familiar with my channel, the reason I like to tape mine down, it's taped to a piece of foam board that is covered in packaging tape. The packaging tape on the foam board creates a moisture barrier, so the foam board doesn't take on the moisture. But it also allows me to tape down my paper and then be able to pull the tape off without hurting the board at all, and I can reuse it. But what it allows me to do is I leave it to dry for as long as it takes, and then it usually, I would say 98% of the time, goes back to being pretty flat. I'm not a huge fan of really warped pages, so that's my preferred method, is to tape it down. Now, do I always tape it down? No. There are occasions where I don't. Either I don't have a board available, or I don't want to have the edge have that line where there's nothing on it. As you can see, my paint only goes up to where the tape was. Oftentimes I cut that off and then I put another sheet behind my paper to create like a black border or something like that. But in this particular case, I just am going to leave it, and I am going to put some detail around the outside of the layout. So I pulled out some frames. Those are from, I'm like, what are those called? Those are called frames, and those are from Pink Fresh Studio. And I have a whole package of them, so I knew I wanted to use some of those up because they are in that periwinkle color. Some of them are in a darker color, like more like a navy, with like the upper left-hand one. But the bottom right one is more periwinkle. And I wanted to kind of bring that over underneath the photo. That is also the same package where I got the frame that is around my daughter and her husband, and Noah is sandwiched in between them for a family hug. And oftentimes he'll say family hugs, and then that's what they do. He's like, we call it a family sandwich, and he gets to choose if he's the peanut butter, the jelly, or the cheese, and then mom and dad can be the bread. So, or whatever he wants to be in the middle. Maybe he's salami that day. Who knows? You never know what comes out of his mouth. I had this wood veneer piece that says hugs on it, and I've had it in my stash a long time. I do not remember the name of the company. I want to say it might be like a Freckled Fawn or something like that, but I could be totally wrong on that. Basically, it came in like, the word hugs came in like 3 different sizes in the package. But what I did was I sprayed it with some, I think I sprayed it with Ahoy Matey from Shimmers, but it didn't look blue. It looked black, because it soaked in, so like it just sucked up the ink. I was going for like a navy blue look, but it just soaked completely in. So then I went over it with some Dilutions Shimmer Spray in Periwinkle Blue. And so that kind of took it to more of a navy looking color. And so I was pretty happy with that. It matches those chipboard hearts that are from that same Pinkfresh Studio chipboard set. Those are actually from Indigo Hills 2. Yeah, Indigo Hills 2. That's the name of the collection that they came out of. And they've been in my stash for quite a long time. The little tiny tile stickers, those were created on using my die and stamp set from Paper Tray Ink. And it's the mini type set. And they are retired. So I will still include a link down, I'll include the name of them down below. If I can find a link to it, I will put a link in there. But I know the die has been out of stock forever, and they're not like replacing it. They're not making it anymore. You might be able to still get the stamps, and you might be able to find them on a resale site of some sort if that's of interest to you, and if you are someone who likes to go digging for that kind of stuff. So I pulled in another large frame. It's like a wreath with leaves there. And I just decided that it needed something over to the left-hand side, even though the original didn't have that. Now, the original does have a circular frame around the photo. I did not have a circular frame that I felt fit the photo very well. They were either too small or really big. And so I just went with that square frame or rectangle frame, and I think that works fine. And then, I've got the ovals, and so those ovals kind of soften up the squareness of everything. And I think once the frame is down and all is said and done, the mixed media going down the center looks good. I didn't want anything quite as bold as that bright red that's on the original piece there, but I thought that soft yellow works really well. The paper does have some of those softer kind of colors in it, and so it kind of brings that out, even though I have that whitewash look over the top of it. And then these little chipboard pieces are also from Pinkfresh Studio. I'm not sure what the name of the collection is for those, so my apologies for that. And if I can find the link to them, I will include those down below again. I think I'm going to add some splatter here and there with the Periwinkle Blue Dilutions Shimmer Spray. And while I do that, I'll remind you that there are other people playing along in this hop, so go and check them out below. Their links will be down there for you, as well as the link to the Facebook group where you can find the inspiration for the last Friday of the month if you'd like to play along. I am just going to use a sketchy line to outline around where the paint kind of stops, and I am using my navy blue Muji pen in a 0.5 if that is of interest to you. So there is my final layout. I will add a little bit of journaling down in that bottom frame, most likely, and sometimes I leave a little bit of that for my daughter to do, so I may end up doing that. Also, the heart stamp that you saw there, that is from Studio Light Art by Marlene, and I will link that as well. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.